It's a man's world, well, so they say, but throughout history and in modern times, women too have played an important part in society. In fact, some of the highly influential entrepreneurs have proven that they too can do what their male equivalents can do in order to get their respective position of influence. This statement frames the theme of our program today. I am Pule Molebatsi, bringing you today's edition of Bophelong. Welcome to it. Let's meet founder of Aluminium Lady, a thriving aluminium business by a young female industrialist, Janice Dingiswayo. The business of aluminium has proven to be an all-day occupation for this industrialist. In the daytime, it takes place on site where written plans take physical form. But on this particular evening at her home, north of Johannesburg, Janice Dingiswayo has narrowed down her to-do list to one presentation so that she can sit down with Bophelong to give us an insight into her life as an industrialist.
95% of the time, I have to get myself dirty because I have to make sure that I sit down and calculate, do the cost estimates in terms of what material is needed. I have to actually go to the shops to buy from the suppliers. So by going to the suppliers, I have to go into their warehouse. So some of their warehouses are not very clean. So you'd have to choose what you want and they'll pull it out, load it on a truck, and then it goes to our workshop.
She is one of the few female industrialists who are creating a shift in the industrial landscape in South Africa. Heading an aluminium company is an achievement she's proud of, looking back where her career began.
I did BA Economics at Wits University. I did it because my mother wanted me to do it. And I didn't find any challenge in doing it. I just felt like I'm going to class every day and coming back, but I would look forward to working during school holidays. And working was like doing practical things at my dad's businesses, being at the filling station, being at the electrical company that he used to have. So for me, yes, studying was crucial, but I think it's one of those moments where you do study just because you want your mother to be happy, and you'd be doing it to show her that yes, you are responsible, and it would be a backup plan. But I exactly knew that I wanted to be a businesswoman.
With a father who was always in business, Janice's introduction to entrepreneurship took place quite early in her life.
I happened to grow up in a family where my father is a businessman. And as a businessman, he used to have lots of friends from different parts of the world, being it the Chinese, being it the Italians. So they would come and he would have business meetings. And sometimes maybe when I'm making them coffee, I would overhear what they're talking about and even get roped in some of the projects that he was doing.
Her father being her source of inspiration in business, he laid a strong foundation in education, even with life's inevitable obstacles.
I've got 2 brothers and 1 sister. We all went to school, but the level of education that we all have is very different. My brother is into IT. Then I have a sister who is a slow learner. She stays at home with my parents. She's very special to all of us because as much as we went to the same school, because we had to learn how to incorporate her in our family and in the family space, we were in touch with how she's as a human being, and we acknowledged it and we made her feel comfortable that yes, she's part of us.
Emphasis on education also brought out other qualities in her.
I love challenges. I love doing things that a lot of people think they're impossible. I enjoy them. I like solving a problem. Solving a problem in the sense that I do things that other people would think, oh, it's going to take me 2 weeks to do it. I actually sit down and plan and research if needs be, that I need to do my research and ask even around people that are doing exactly things that are in the same industry as myself.
Her interest in discovering new things drew her to people who supported her vision.
I found a gentleman who was doing the same thing. Fortunately, it was next to my village. Yes. And I sat down with him and I told him what I want to do exactly. And he was like, no, you can use my workshop to practice and do the work. My first client was my parents. So I changed their house, and after that I was like, yes, it's possible. Got a few guys that could do the work, and we used to work at night when they finished their work so that I can accommodate them in the space that I was in.
Stay tuned. After the break, we zoom into the business of aluminium and the influences it has on our construction of modern homes. Welcome back to the show. You're still watching Bophelong. If you have just joined us today, we are looking at a career of a female industrialist through the eyes of a founder of aluminium company, Janice Dingiswayo. Right now, we'll look at how she ties in all the different aspects of her life, the personal and the professional, to best execute the goals in business. Founder of Aluminium Lady, Janice Dingiswayo, has an aluminium company keeping up with the demands of her job. Outside of her professional realm, she finds joy in traveling.
Traveling is a passion that I have because, like I told you, that I wanted to know what other cultures and how they're living. I do travel, I do read a lot of business books.
There are no set rules of running a successful business, but Janice has figured out her own set of rules to keep up with the demands of her occupation. One of them is complete mental and physical relaxation.
I used to play tennis when I was little, and when I got to Johannesburg, I didn't have a lot of friends, so it was one of those moments where I'm like, what sport can I play that doesn't need me to have a partner to play with? And I went to the yoga studios in Fourways. I was like, let me try it. They say it's heated yoga, you go in a heated room because they call it Bikram yoga. Then I went in and I met people, but we didn't talk. We just looked at ourselves in the mirrors. And I had to learn so much about even my own body, that I discovered that yoga was very good for the body. It was healthy, and it just helped me stimulate my brain. That time and that moment where I was with myself and just listening to the instructor.
Balance in life is quite important. We need people like Bebezi to remind us that, hey, even though you're working hard, even though you're trying to develop the economy and change the social economic structure, you need to come to places like this. It's important because you can find yourself rushing and rushing and rushing, and you don't focus on what you're doing because you're cluttered and you're everywhere. But if you come and have 1 hour to yourself, it's important. So yes, women are needed in that space, but we need to remember that at the end of the day, we're still women and we still have responsibilities like looking after kids, like being a wife maybe, or being a daughter to somebody. So it's important that you do your work, yes, but you balance it with a hobby or two.
You have moments where she comes to you about challenges in her life. Are you comfortable to mention maybe a particular event where she came and she was miserable? Because behind every still woman there is a soft side. So would you share one of those challenging times that she came and she said, oh?
I actually like the fact that she says, I'm an aunt, I'm a sister, I'm a friend, I'm a family. And gosh, when I met her, she was a baby, you know what I mean? And the father and the mother are my mother and father. And obviously, we've shared quite a lot in terms of, and we still share quite a lot in terms of that. So she'll come in, for example, she's stressed about business. And luckily, also my background, I do quite a lot of business. And we've actually sat and worked until 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning because there is some business that needs to be done. And as I said, luckily, as I said, from a business perspective, marketing, I've done that, PR, strange enough, my background is HR, but I've done a lot of work on that. So if she's got challenges about work, she will definitely come. And obviously about personal things. I'm a mother and she's an aunt to my kids, as well as she's a sister to me, and I'm a big sister, obviously, to her. And if she's got any other challenges, including even her mom and dad, she'll come to me and she's like, you know, mom did this and that, and I'll give them a call and also calm it down. But you know what the beauty is about her and me? She's always laughing. I've never seen someone like that. Even my husband always says, you guys are always laughing. And I think that's the most important thing that we share. We'll have some kind of a stressful situation, we'll laugh about it, and then it eases actually the situation. But yes, definitely, from personal, from business, we share a lot. And as I said, I've been in business. I strengthen her where she's weak, as well as she strengthens me where I'm weak. And worst of all, as I said, she's an aunt. When it comes to my kids, she actually eases the stress of kids. She takes them away for 2-3 days. I'm like, free, I don't need kids. She's very good with that, so she's enough reasons. But yeah, we've shared a lot of moments, good and bad. If we have to cry, we do cry together, and then after that, we laugh at ourselves.
She fights my battles, actually. She's the bully in me. If I have a problem with somebody, she'll say, let's go. And I'm like, just following behind.
After her yoga session, it was business as usual. For someone heading a startup business, she's always looking to reinvent herself and her business. That's why her walks around town aren't just for relaxation. She's always scouting for properties to remodel through her aluminium company.
While I travel, I always look at how other countries do it. When you go to countries like China, you'd find that the profiles that they use are so advanced, and when you get home here, it's only like 4 types of material. We will get there with time because we will be able to manufacture those profiles ourselves, unlike importing them. And with time, we will also be able to export some of the finished material that we make.
This empowered industrialist shared her future plans aside from her current occupation.
I'm also involved in a few projects. Being in Clarence, there's a destination where we would like to build a monument, a historical monument. I've got everything prepared. We're just waiting for the feasibility study to happen. And once it takes off, I'm just going to be sitting in the back because most of the time with my communications background, I'm behind the scenes. And I just like it when people pull the ribbon and it unfolds, because I just pat myself on the shoulder that yes, this project was started and initiated by myself. And if it can bring income and change the sphere of the tourism and improve on it, I'm happy.
In an industry dominated by males, this young, dedicated industrialist holds her position with a promising future. As she continues to push boundaries and grow in her field, there is no doubt that we are yet to see many more from this aluminium lady. And this is where we ended for today. Tune in again next week for stories of great courage, transformation and inspiration right here on Bophelong. Until next week, it's a goodbye from me and the team.